Morning, friends. Hello, and welcome back to my podcast, Unwind and Knit with Me. My name is Lisa, and I'm coming to you from Christchurch in New Zealand. This is episode 64, and today is Friday, the 22nd of November. So, to all my existing viewers, welcome back. And if you are new to my podcast, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the content. I'll start off doing some admin things, but first of all, I want to thank you for your patience because it's been just over a month or just over 4 weeks since my last podcast. So my husband and I went away for 10 days and the plan was to do one before we went away. But leading up to it, I felt really rushed and unprepared. So I thought best not do it because if I'm not feeling it and I'm not organised, I just would rather not do one than do a bad one. And then got home Monday, unpacked, spent the day unpacking and organising myself, and planned on podcasting Tuesday. And fast forward now to Friday, here I am, because sometimes life just throws you curveballs and you have to roll with it. So, sorry for the delay between episodes, but also thank you for your patience in case you've been wondering where I am. So if you are new to my channel and you enjoy the content, please subscribe, give it the thumbs up, and feel free to always leave comments. I read all the comments and I do get back to everybody. Sometimes it may take me a week or two, but I do take the time to sit down and read all those comments, and I really appreciate them. So thank you very much. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Unwind and Knit with Me. There's also a community Facebook group, Unwind and Knit with Me also. On Ravelry, I'm Lisa NZ Knitter, although I'm not great on Ravelry, but I am there. I do try to keep it up to date, but it's not up to date at the moment. It's quite a few months behind. I also have an online store, which is unwindandknit.com. And from there, you can contact me, or you can scroll down to the bottom and subscribe to my newsletter. I don't spam you with newsletters. I only do one every couple of months. So, so please subscribe to the newsletter as well. Everything I talk about here on my podcast, I leave quite detailed show notes for. So I leave you all the Ravelry links or links to any tutorials that I may talk about on YouTube. Any information that I can put in the show notes, I do. So, scroll down and find those show notes if you're looking for anything that I talk about. At the end of my episode, I always do a shop update. I talk about what's new in my shop, new products, new yarns, accessories, just what's going on in my shop. So if you think that's your thing and you might enjoy hearing that, I do that at the end of the episode after all my knitting and my other content. And I have got quite a detailed shop update today because I thought I might go through some suggested Christmas gifts, especially if you're in knit groups and maybe you do a secret Santa or something like that, or just gifts for your knitting friends. I've got a few gift ideas because I hate to say it, but it's, we're only a week away from December. And actually my daughter, I was just texting her and she said, Mum, can I come over this weekend? Can we put the Christmas tree up? And I normally try not to do it till the 1st of December, but hey, why not? Come over, let's put the Christmas tree up. So, I will talk a little bit about some Christmas gift suggestions at the end. I think that's all my show admin things that I needed to talk about. In my last episode, I did do a competition draw for 2 free patterns from a friend of mine who's a very talented knitwear designer, and that's Elizabeth from Mohair Knits. So I've got 2 prize winners that were randomly drawn from the suggestions or from the comments on YouTube. But I'm also, towards the end, I'll talk to you about a new giveaway. I've got 2 gifts that I want to give away as a Christmas giveaway, and I'll talk about that later on in the episode, and I will draw those prizes in episode 65, which will be before Christmas. So hang around and wait for that. That's quite exciting. Yeah, that's all my show notes things. So let's get into the knitting, hey, and let's talk about what I'm wearing. Okay, so what I'm wearing is the Tolsta tee by Rebecca Clow, and I have talked about this in my previous podcast, but I will insert a photo of the pattern here and also some yarn recommendations. But the Tolsta tee, it's a perfect basic raglan t-shirt that can be a canvas for all your creative ideas. The pattern includes instructions for a tee plus extra documents and resources on how to customize the Tolsta to your liking. The pattern includes a 4-ply or fingering weight version, and it also provides you with the DK version. It can be done long sleeve, short sleeve, you can do it cropped, you can add length. It's really, think of it as a template, but I love a raglan on me. It's my preferred type of fit. But she has very cleverly, just the design of this raglan I think is really clever. I have done mine in a 4-ply 100% cotton that I bought overseas. I don't think it's available here in New Zealand. And it was my first time knitting with cotton. And I've got to say, it's very different. And I did have to take my time because I found, because cotton doesn't have the bounce and the stretch and that wool does, or that animal fibers does, it was a little bit hard on my fingers. I did find that after an hour or two, my fingers started to ache a bit. So I did knit it in patches. I'd sort of do a bit, put it down, knit something else, pick it back up. So just be mindful if you're knitting with cotton. It does have a very different feel to wool. But I love it. I've worn this quite a few times. It is, it's drapey. It's cool because it's cotton, and it's probably my first time, I think, knitting with cotton, and I absolutely love it. I'll insert a photo here of me actually so you can see it in its full length. I did post that photograph on my social media, but there's a photo of me wearing it. I have taken a selfie. I don't like selfies, but sometimes you just got to do what you've got to do. But that's my Tolsta tee in the 4-ply version. So with the DK, it's a 17 stitch gauge, and with the fingering, it's a 24 stitch gauge. So any yarn that you want to use, just work on getting gauge either 17 or 24 and then go from there. It's really quite an adaptable pattern. I did the size 4, which is for 110 bust, finished bust measurement, which fits me fine. It's given me about 10 centimetres of positive ease, which I really like for a summer top. I just love the ease and the drape. It's without extra positive ease. I chose to colour block mine. As you can see, I did 2 colours, and I did 9 centimetres. Each block is 9 centimetres, but hey, just whatever sort of stripes you like. But in case you're wondering, I did the big wide stripes of 9 centimetre. I talked about the feel of it. I did, on the bottom band, I did a twisted rib band, which felt like it took forever because it's quite a wide, well, it's not that wide, it's probably about 3 centimetres. But I did do a twisted rib because I just like the look of a twisted rib band. And the cast off that I did on my sleeves, the bottom band and around here, is a cast off called the Ruke. I'm not sure. It's spelled Ruke. And I will leave the link for the YouTube tutorial for this cast off. I absolutely loved it. I love sewn bind offs, but as you know, they're really time consuming. There's a lot of movements just to decrease one stitch. This is a sewn bind off, but it is so easy. Watch the video, and I think for sure it's going to be one of my go-to cast offs. It's got quite a bit of stretch, so I think you could also use it for socks. Um, but a really nice cast off, and I really recommend that you have a look at it. So yeah, RUKE. I haven't written who did the tutorial, but the show notes, the link will be there, so you can go and have a look. If not on YouTube, I think it's just a Ruke sewn bind off, something like that. I have got a couple of yarn recommendations if you want to do this as a summer knit, and one of them is, I've sold a bit of this for this particular pattern, but it's the BC Yarn Allino. That's it there. This is 50 grams, 125 meters. So that meterage says that it's a DK. What I recommend you do is do your swatch and then wet block it, and then even wear it against your skin for the day, like pop it down the front of your pants or in your bra, because when cotton and linen is against the skin, the heat of the skin does soften it. So you get more of an idea of how it's going to wear, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. This one here is 50% linen, 50% cotton. Beautiful blend for a summer top. So I think, did I write there? I think I've got 9 or 10 colours in the Allino. So that's it there. That colour there is a natural. It's called 04. But the other one for a 4-ply version, if you wanted to do the Myak Fior Lino, and this one is 50% Tibetan wool, 35% baby yak, and 15% Italian linen. This is super, super soft, and it has a handle like wool does, as opposed to this one, which has that cotton linen sort of feel when you're knitting it. But you'd get a beautiful one out of the Fior Lino if you wanted to do a 4-ply short sleeve summer one. So they're the 2 yarns. In my shop update, I'll talk about them a bit more and show you a bit more of the colour range. But they're the 2 yarns I would recommend from my amandaknit.com shop that you could do that pattern in. Yeah. So lucky I've got notes. I sort of try to work on my notes in between the podcasts, but I was in my shop here a few weeks ago and I loved this, and I thought I want to do more stripes. I'd love to do a long sleeve version of this Tolsta tee, a DK sort of winter version in stripes. And I was looking at my Knit by Numbers, which is it's a John Arbon textile yarn. It's DK and it's 50% merino and 50% BFL. And I want to show you the colours that I put together. They're very different. They're out of my comfort zone, which I think even excites me more. But there's 6 colours, and that's them there. And I can just see these 6 colours striped up in a long sleeve DK version of this pattern. The colours, just in case you are curious, that one there is a beautiful light blue. See that there? It's colour number 97. That rust is 116. The orange is number 13. The natural is number 55. And then this dark denim blue is 123. And the dark brown is number 7. I want to wind these 6 off, and I want to stripe these 6 colours. It's quite earthy with that pop of orange. That's how I'd describe it. Earthy stripes with a real pop of orange. So I just wanted to share that with you. I often do that, is I'll just be in here and things just jump out at me, and I thought, yep, I'm going to put that aside, and that's for that pattern. I just need time. but that's my plan for my next Tolsta tee. This is a pattern that for sure once you've done, I know that you'll do it again. If you like a raglan, it's just such a good versatile pattern, and I do highly recommend it. And I would definitely do it again, like as a summer knit and as a winter knit. So, okay, so that's what I'm wearing. And now I'm going to talk to you about a couple of my whips. So, although I've had a break, I needed a break, but I think both my husband and I needed a break. When I say we had a break from work and social media and phones and computers, but I never have a break from knitting. I still knit every day. So even though I haven't podcast regularly, I've still got a lot of content to show you because I have knitted quite a bit. We went to Queenstown, which is central Otago. It's sort of down the middle of the South Island. And the first couple of days it poured. It was really heavy rain, but I love that. We've got a motorhome, and I love just hunkering down with a pot of coffee and my knitting, and it can rain or snow. It doesn't bother me. But then on the fine days, it was beautiful, like shorts and t-shirt. We went for a bike ride. My husband did the Queenstown Marathon, which is a really big event, like thousands and thousands of people. So it's not normally the sort of event he would do. He normally does more the off the grid ones out in the bush. But it was a sort of bucket list one that he wanted to tick off. And it was amazing. The atmosphere and the buzz around the finish line was really, really exciting. So that was my break. That's where we were. And it was like really awesome. And like I said, I did get some knitting done. Okay, I'm going to gather my whips and we're going to talk about those. So the first whip that I'm going to show you, I had just started on my last podcast, and it's called the Tropez sweater by Susanne Muller, and it's a crocheted project. So it's completely new to me. I'm not a crocheter, but this is literally just a big granny square, really. Well, it's done back and forwards. It's not done as a square as such. But it's just done with that treble, really basic pattern. I'll insert a photo of it here, and also that photo shows it laid out so you can sort of see the construction of it. But the Tropez sweater is a simple, boxy shaped pullover in a mesh pattern. A true summer favourite that can be worn either as an airy top over another sort of singlet or camisole, or it can be worn like as a beach cover over your swimwear. The sweater is crocheted from the bottom up in a granny type cluster pattern, basically a big granny square. First, the back is worked in a back and forth rows and you turn at each end. Then the front is worked exactly the same. Then you get your two squares and you join them at the shoulders, and then you work your sleeves directly off that, and then you seam it all up together. I should read, so I'm probably telling you back and front. After the shoulder seams are closed with a slip stitch to join the two pieces together, then the sleeves are crocheted directly onto the body, likewise in the same back and forth technique. And then finally the sides and the sleeve seams are closed using slip stitches, and then the neckline edge the neckline edge and the hem are finished off with a single crocheted edging. So I've done one square. I am going to make this a bit bigger. I'll show it to you. Here it is. It's just a great big square made up of the cluster pattern, which is a treble or a double, depending on what country you live in. But it's a very basic pattern. So what I've done, this is 2 balls of wool. So I wanted to match them identical, but also make sure I've got enough yarn. I've allowed 10 balls, which I think is going to be fine. I'm going to have left over, but it is quite a yarn hungry type of pattern. So that's 2 balls of wool, and then I've started this piece, which is I'm on my second ball now, and it's really quick, and it's really just mindless, relaxing crocheting. So I really hope to have this finished by my next podcast. What inspired me to do this was my friend did it, and she did it in a different yarn, but I absolutely loved it. And I've seen these crochet tops in shops, and they're on trend. Like, not that I need to keep up with what the fashion trends are doing, but they're certainly on trend. What I will say with this one, actually, I hadn't started this on my last pet podcast. I had started it, but I was doing it in the Allino, and it didn't work. I wasn't getting the result I wanted. And then I thought, no, I've definitely got to do a finger in weight. I was trying to be clever. I was trying to, I went up a needle size for the hook, and then I was going to do just a bigger size. But the gauge was all wrong and it didn't work. So I ditched that idea. I unraveled it and I did a swatch using, so this one, should tell you about the yarn, shouldn't I? So it's the Kremke Morning Salutation, and this is 51% tencel and 49% cotton. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook, and I'm doing the size 3. I'll just tell you about this because this is new to me. I've only had it in stock for maybe 6 weeks. I have sold quite a bit of it. I think it's going to be a really popular yarn. It's really affordable. I think it's about $10 a ball. But I will tell you what tencel is. So Morning Salutation combines fine Greek cotton with tencel. And tencel is produced from sustainable wood, which originates from certified and controlled sources. Morning Salutation has a cooling and a moisture managing properties, so it's ideal for warm climates and for summer garments. And the yarn has a silky shine and even structure with intense colour. And the reason I want to say even structure with intense colour, because that's what's different with the Allino. This is a cotton linen and it doesn't have the shine. It's more of a sort of a matte finish, where this is more of a glossy, shiny finish. But it is designed for summer knits and for hot climates. So if you live somewhere warm, that's the way to go. They do say that the garment can grow a bit after washing, so do your swatch and allow for maybe a bit of growth. What they say is lengthwise, so it actually drops a bit and drapes. Also, tencel, what's it got there? It's famous for its closed cycle production process, where all processed water is reused by 99%. So there's quite a technique, a patented technique that they use to produce this tencel. Yeah, so that's my Tropez, and I hope I've encouraged you. It's easy. It is really easy. I had to sort of read the pattern on the technique to turn at each end, but if you're a crocheter, you do it with your eyes closed. But what I did learn, isn't it funny? You think you know everything. You've been knitting for so long, but always something. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So when my friend told me about this pattern, I couldn't find it on Ravelry, and she had to send me the link. And with the link, then I could go to it. And I've provided the link in the show notes. But when I was with some of my knitting friends, I said, I cannot find this pattern on Ravelry without using the link. So on Ravelry, on the front page, it has knitting, crochet, or knitting and crochet. And I had highlighted just knitting. So when I do a search for patterns, only knitted patterns come up, no crochet patterns come up. So I have now changed that on my the front landing page of Ravelry. I've changed it now to knitting and crochet. And when I type in Tropez, it comes up. So there you go. If you didn't know, there is options on there on Ravelry that will allow you to search for crochet patterns. And then if you find you don't want to, you can just flick back to knitting only. So that's that. I will show you some of the colours because I think there's over 10, I think, colours in this Kremke Morning Salutation. Yeah, so that is my first whip, and I'm just going to pause while I regather my things to talk to you about my second whip, which is this one here that's on Dolly, the mannequin. Okay, I've just changed the camera around a little bit because I'm hoping this shows up quite nicely. So this whip is the Chantal Sweater V-neck, and it's by Moreca Knits. And I will leave the link below for the Ravelry link to this pattern. I'll insert a photo now so that you can see what the pattern looks like. So the Chantal sweater is a V-neck. It's worked from the top down in a slip stitch pattern, starting with the back, back and forth yoke that includes raglan and V-neck increasing. Short rows are used to shape the back neck for a better fit. Once the V-neck is shaped, the stitches are joined and the yoke is knitted in the round down to the underarms. The sleeve stitches are then placed on hold. Stitches are cast on for the underarm, and then the body is worked in the round down to the hem. After the body is complete, the held sleeve stitches are transferred back onto the needles to knit, and the sleeves are knitted in the rounds. Finally, the stitches are picked up for the neckline, and the neckline is finished with a 1x1 rib with a CDD central double decrease, which I love the look of. I'll show you, just in case you missed it, I did do a screenshot because I wanted to highlight. So where I'm up to now, I've put everything on hold. I'm sort of a few inches down the body. I've got my sleeve stitches on hold. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up and I'm going to do the V-neck. Then I'll do the sleeves and then I'll finish the body. Now, the V-neck, I want to show you here. See the detail on that center double decrease? It gives you this beautiful V-neck detail. So you can see here I've got where the increasing was. I do have that sort of rib look. And then once I pick up, it will just, hopefully, the neckline's going to look like that. And that is one of the features of this pattern that really caught my eye, was that double decrease V-neck, but also the slip stitch pattern. So I did a swatch. It's the same yarn. It was just some leftover yarn that I had from another project. That's my swatch there. And I went up or down. Right, so the pattern called for a 4.5 mil needle. I got gauge of the 26 stitches using a 4 mil. So I did go down half a needle size. I wet blocked it, and it's just beautiful. It's really squishy, and I just love the detail of that slip stitch pattern. Super, super easy. So I'll just go back so I don't miss anything. The Chantal sweater, it has a relaxed fit, and it is designed to be worn with 15 to 20 centimeter of positive ease. Now, I didn't want that much positive ease. I didn't want it to be that oversized. So I have actually gone, so I'm 100 centimeter upper bust measurements, but I'm doing the size for a 90 to 95, which is going to give me 10 to 15 centimeters of positive ease instead of the 15 to 20. That's what I'm hoping. I actually haven't tried it on. I just put it on hold last night and put on the mannequin, and after I finished and resumed knitting it, I will try it on first. So the pattern states, I wanted to talk about this, it states for it's an intermediate experienced knitter. The pattern itself is a knit slip stitch, and I found that really easy. I thought any beginner knitter could do that. But the pattern itself, I struggled a little bit with the instructions to get started. So you're knitting back and forth, you're knitting short rows, and every alternate row, see in the body, it's slip stitch and then knit one row, slip stitch, and then the next row is knit. When you're working in the flat, it's slip stitch pattern, purl, slip stitch pattern, purl. So that's okay, I understood that. But because you're increasing every other row, that alters whether you start your row with a knit or a slip, so as though you maintain the pattern. And she does explain it, but she explained it in a way that I couldn't get my head around it. It actually took me about 3 goes to get started. But once I wrote the instructions down myself in a way that I could understand it, then it sunk in. And basically, to simplify things, when you're working in the flat and you're doing these increases, she should just say it's a 4-row repeat, and then I probably would have got my head around it a bit better. So basically, you do a knit, slip, then the next row is a purl, but because you've increased, you start your next row as the opposite of slip knit, and then the next one is a knit slip. So you're alternating. Once you get into the round, easy peasy. But I think if you're a real beginner, you might struggle with those instructions, but maybe not. Maybe, we all think different, right? The way we interpret things. So, but I did get a little bit stuck there. But like I said, once I wrote it down in a way that I could understand it, I was good as gold. And it is a pattern that I have had to keep, I'll show you here, it's quite messy, but I have had to keep track of all my rows. Because, you're alternating your rows. So I hope that made sense. My advice would be to thoroughly read the pattern and get your head around what's going on before you start. Because like I said, I had a couple of false starts. I'm doing mine, so the pattern calls for a sports weight yarn, which is a 5-ply, and my Yarnadelic Sports is perfect, and that's what I'm using. The colour I'm using, I've never really knitted anything in browns, or it's like a dark rust, but it's called Violetta Guitar, and that's it there. It's a beautiful bronze, dark bronze, and I absolutely love the colour. It's just perfect. What I will say with the Yarnadelic, I will touch on it in my shop update at the end, but I'm low on a couple of colours, but my order is ready to leave the UK. I'm just waiting on the invoice to pay, so it'll probably be in here. They're pretty good. I'd say 2 weeks, but keep an eye on my social media or my online store. And if you've been after a colour that's low, it's on its way. So, but I have plenty of this colour. There's a few of my colours I have lots of, and then there's some that I'm really low on. Okay. Yep, so that's probably all I've got to say about this Chantal sweater. I love it. I do recommend it. But like I said, just be a bit patient with those beginning instructions. Maybe it was just me. I thought too I'd touch on, because my next project that I have been working on while I was away is my Oslo hat. And I'm going to pause and I'm going to regather my things and talk to you about my Oslo hat. Okay, so the Oslo hat, this is my 3rd Oslo hat. I thought I'll bring this one down. So this is the first one. No, the first one I knitted, I did with a 4-ply and a mohair, and it was in a pink colour, and I gifted it to my sister-in-law. This was my second one that I knitted for my husband, but I'll talk about the gauge and the sizing. It's a little bit too snug on him, but it fits me perfect. So I decided to put a possum pom-pom on it, and also a leather tag. And I'll either keep this for myself or I might gift it to my daughter if she wants it. But so that was my second one. This is my 3rd one that I had started a couple of months ago and didn't make much progress on. But because we did a bit of a road trip, my husband did most of the driving. So I managed to get quite a bit of this done while we were traveling. So there is actually quite a lot of knitting in this, because what you do is 20 centimeters of just stocking stitch, and then you turn it and you fold it onto itself and you knit it together. So you knit the stitch on your needle and then you pick up the stitch on the bottom and you knit the band together, and then you end up with this nice thick brim. And then you do a bit of garter stitch. Well, you don't, you just knit, but then you turn it around, do a short row technique to turn the knitting around. So what you end up with is this garter stitch section here. When it's folded back on itself, it becomes like the fold line for the brim. So I'm just loving it. This yarn is a sports weight yarn that I bought overseas. It's really similar to the colour. It's not when you hold it side by side, but it is sort of a dark bronzy rust colour. So this is my third Oslo hat. Like I said, I have made quite a lot of progress. So what I'm doing now is I need a few more inches and then I'll change to DPNs and I will start decreasing for the crown. I use the ChiaoGoo fixed circular 40 centimeter, and that is perfect for just knitting round and round. I've said it a lot on my podcast, but that 40 centimeter fixed cable is what I'd recommend if you want to knit beanies. So makes everything nice and easy. I'll insert the photo. Have I inserted the photo? I can't remember. Anyway, I'll insert the photo so you can see what the pattern looks like. So the pattern recommends DK or fingering and mohair. But what I've done is I've done a 5-ply, a sports weight yarn, and I've altered the needle size to get a tighter gauge. So I've experimented a little bit. The pattern calls for a 23 stitch gauge. Now on a 4mm needle, I've gone down to a 3.25 needle and my gauge is about 26. So it's a tighter gauge, but that's because I really like this fabric. I really love this tight gauge. It makes for a nice snug beanie, but I've done the largest size. So the sizing, there's 7 sizes and it goes from a child through to an adult extra large. So for this one, for my husband, this one was a large at the tight gauge and it was a little bit snug. So I'm doing the same gauge, but I'm doing the extra large. So it'll be a bit more, it's a little bit bigger, so it should fit his head. So if you want to play around and you want to do that tighter gauge, it's possible. Like I've done it twice. Yeah, so 40 centimeter. I'll talk about the needle that I'm using. The beanie I will leave the link for, and like I said, it's DK or mohair, but it's adjustable. So what I wanted to say about this is once you cast this on, this is perfect holiday knitting. So if you're going to be traveling and you just want something easy to knit that's small and lightweight, do one of these, because once you cast it on, you're just knitting stocking stitch for 20 centimeters before you have to do anything else. What I have worked out, so I can get 3 beanies out of 2 skeins. So if you wanted to do a bit of holiday knitting or gift knitting, use the Yarnadelic. If you wanted to, you will get 3 beanies. So you could do 1 in each colour and then maybe stripe 1. So I think it makes for really nice gift knitting. And I think that looks like a pretty good gift once you put a beanie and a tag on it. It just looks, I think, like a really polished, finished garment that I'd be really proud to give to anyone. I've seen them in shops and look like that. They're like $70 and $80. So, yeah, so that's my Oslo hat. And I'll do more of these because, like I said, it's small, it's lightweight, and it's really good when you just need that little project to throw in your handbag as you're walking out the door. That's That's my on-the-go project. So I'm going to announce the 2 prize winners for their Mohair knits pattern that she kindly donated 2 prizes, 2 patterns. But what I will say, quite a few of you nominated, because you had to go on and tell me what pattern you wanted, and quite a few of you in the comments nominated the Mahana scarf. Now, so what I want to say to you, if you wanted the Mahana scarf, you're all winners. You've all got access to it, because if you go on and click on the link, it's actually a free pattern. So if that's the pattern you wanted, it's yours. Go get it. I'll show you mine. I haven't made any progress. I hoped to make progress, but I think when we were away, I was just in that mode of I need to disconnect and I need to relax. I didn't do any knitting that called for a lot of brain cells to be used, so I haven't made any progress on it. But that's the beginning of my Mahana scarf, and I just love that lace work. I've finished the increasing, so I'm at the point now where I just do straight for like 100 centimeters. And I'm using the Myak fibers. It's actually this one up here, the Cashmere, 100% Cashmere, because it will only take 1 ball and the Cashmere isn't cheap. And I just think it's a really luxurious, I just think it deserves to be done in Cashmere. So I do hope to get some more of that done, but just the last few weeks wasn't the right time to be getting it done. But go on to, I'll leave the link below, but if you go onto Ravelry, Mohair knits, and it's the Mahana scarf, I'll insert a photo here so you can see it. And if you just scroll down a bit, it's got free download. So you're all winners if that's what you are after. So there's the image there, and yeah, click on the link and go and get that pattern. The 2 winners, I do a random generator, so it's a program that selects from comments in my Instagram, not my Instagram, my YouTube, and the keyword was a Mohair knits, and it selected 2 winners, and I'm going to insert right now a screenshot. So the 2 winners, one of the ladies I know, she's a regular customer of mine, and it's Bev. So congratulations, Bev. And the other one is Deb. I think it's Bibbermafield. It might just be a username. But Deb, if you recognise that name and that's you, please email me, shop@unwindandknit.com, or you can do that through my website. Email me and I will get your details to Elizabeth, and I will probably need your Ravelry username, and I think she can drop the pattern that you want straight into your Ravelry library. So they're the 2 winners, so congratulations, and thank you very much for participating. So that's really exciting. So yeah, that's that. Now I'm going to talk about my next cast on. It may be that striped, the Tolsta tee in those 6 colours. I'm really keen to cast that one on, but I've got another one that is seriously out of my comfort zone, but I want to do it. So I'm going to regather my things and I'm going to come back and show you my new cast on. So a couple of episodes ago, I showed you the Cloud Blouse by Petite Knit, which is a very basic sort of sweatshirt done in double-stranded mohair. So hold 2 strands of silk mohair together. And I showed you one that my friend had knitted, and it was all random stripes. She had a lot of mohair in her stash, and she wanted to use it up, and it looked fabulous. Like it looked, I think she might have had to buy 1 or 2 colors, but the rest of it she just put together from her stash. And I thought, yeah, I want to do that. And I showed it to you on my podcast and said I want to do it. And then a week or so later, another friend of mine who'd also done it, and she did it in this hot pink. It's Kremke, it's kid silk mohair, and it looked fabulous. And I thought, that's what I want. I want a bright pink Cloud Blouse by Petite Knit. I'm going to insert the photo so you can have a look at the pattern. But so the Cloud Blouse is worked from the top down. First, the back yoke is worked flat, back and forth, while short rows are worked to shape the shoulders. Then each shoulder is worked separately, back and forth, with short rows. The shoulders are then joined to form the front yoke. The front and back yoke are joined at the underarm, and the body is worked in the round on circular needles. So that's pretty standard for top down. But what's a bit different is the sleeves aren't put on hold like this one. You actually go back and you pick up the stitches, and you pick up the stitches for your sleeves, and they're worked in the rounds. And then the same with the neckline. What does she call it? At the end, the stockinette stitch, she calls it a funnel neckline, is worked by picking up the stitches, yeah, for the neckline. I mean, I think it's a beginner, an advanced, adventurous beginner type pattern. I don't think it's a hard pattern. It's very size inclusive, so it goes from an extra, extra small up to a 5XL. So there's 10 sizes. She recommends a kid silk mohair, so this is perfect. This is the Kremke soul wool silky kid. Perfect yardage, exactly the same as what she recommends. And you hold the two strands together. It's done on a 4mm knitting needle, and it's designed to have 12 to 15 centimeters of positive ease. So yeah, I've just written here, I love the relaxed sleeve cuffs and the neckline. So it's done with a 1x1 rib and then some stockinette stitch, and then it folds down on itself. It's got a bit of a roll, which I really like. So my plan was, when we went away, I always like to take a few extra things in case I get bored. But I took 2 balls of this, and I thought, I'm going to cast this on, and I'm going to do it in a hot pink. As it turned out, I didn't cast it on. I didn't sort of get around to it. But when I was away, we looked at quite a few shops, you know, just window shopping. We really didn't buy anything. But I saw quite a few striped jerseys done in bright colours like that, like stripes of orange, red and hot pink. And they're not colours that I would ever think to put together, but they looked so good together that I just kept thinking, I'm not going to cast on the pink. I'm going to wait until I get home, and I'm going to do a bright striped version. And then I also grabbed that one. I think that one might be a bit overdoing it. I'm just not sure. I want to do this, but what I thought I'm going to do is next week, when I meet up with some of my knitting friends, I'm going to take it and I'm going to get a second opinion, because I'd hate to do it because there's quite a bit of yarn involved and not like it. So I do want a second opinion, but I think I'm going to stripe maybe like that. I don't know, but that's my plan, is to do a bright color striped cloud blouse. I've got about, I think there's about 16 or 17 colors in this. It's quite a big color range. So that's it's one of my next plans, is the cloud blouse. I have done petite knits before, a couple of hers, and I like them. I like the simplicity of them, the fit, just relaxed sweatshirty type patterns. I do enjoy them. Okay, so that's it for new cast-ons. Like I said, I've been a bit, I have, which is not like me, what's the word, monogamous. I've been a bit of a monogamous knitter. So I've really done a lot of work on this. Since I saw you, I've cast this on, and I've done quite a lot of my crochet, and I have done quite a bit on that Oslo hat. So they're the 3 things that I have been working on, and they're 3 very different things. So if I get bored, or depending on the circumstances or my brain space, how much, you know, thought or effort I want to put into it, those 3 projects are perfect to swap and change from. So, and coming into Christmas, that's why I wanted to talk about that Oslo hat, because you need, depending on where you're going and what you're doing, you need relaxing, I call it campground knitting, like sitting up at the campground and just crochet, or, yeah, it's nice to have those really simple products, not products, projects. I've decided that I'm going to do a Christmas giveaway, and I've got a lot of new wool recently, all of this Mohair and the Allino and the Morning Salutation, and I've been trying to make space in this tiny little shop that I've got. So I have been shuffling things around, doing a bit of a cleanup, and I found a couple of things that I thought, well, they're not on my website to sell. I should do a giveaway with them. And they're 2 leather bags, and they are bags that were sort of made up for me as like a prototype, and they're beautiful, but I didn't know how to sell them because they were one of a kinds. So I'm going to show them to you, and I'm going to tell you about the Christmas draw that I'm going to do, so as though you can win one of these beautiful bags. So when I first started my online store, I was getting some bags, some knitting project bags made from South Africa. They were all handmade, very thick, high quality leather. But I haven't got that contact anymore, so I'm not getting them. But I have 2 bags that were sort of done as samples, and almost like a prototype. But there's nothing wrong with them. They're 100% perfect. So these bags were valued at, I can't remember, over $200. So the first one is this project bag, and it's in a peach color, and it's self-stands. It's got a really big base on the bottom. It's fully lined with pockets, and I designed these pockets to fit your iPad or your tablet. If you, I use Knit Companion all the time to knit from. So I've designed these. They were designed to have big pockets to fit your tablet, and it comes with a matching Notions pouch. Notions pouch. So that is the first bag that I'm going to give away, and the second one was one that I never went ahead with. So this was purely a prototype, but it's this beautiful bright apple green. Once again, it's got the big pocket at the front, and inside it's got a Notions pouch that it is attached. So this one's not lined. This one's just 100% genuine leather. So what I'm going to do for this giveaway, I'm going to announce it on my next podcast. And to enter this, all you need to do is have subscribed to my podcast, which I know a lot of my regulars have already subscribed. Give it the thumbs up and leave a message using the keyword Christmas or gift, and write green or peach, depending on what color you would prefer. And I'll select one with the keyword peach and one with the keyword green. So rather than winning it and not getting the color that you liked, I thought, well, I should just make it so that you put the word either peach or green, and I will draw that before the next episode and announce the winners. And I will ship them anywhere in the world. My New Zealand freight is fabulous. It's an overnight service. But outside of New Zealand, I use DHL, and they're very good too. I know Australia, it's 2 to 3 days, and other countries, I think it's 4 or 5 days. It's really good service. But I will ship them anywhere as a Christmas gift. Okay. So that's that. I thought I will just touch on this briefly. So I have wanted to knit The Love Letter by Veronica Lindberg, and I'm going to insert the photo here. So in case you haven't had a look at this pattern, I have talked about it before, but The Love Letter, the design was born from a desire to create something with all over lace moffat that keeps changing all the time. It's a true celebration of the textures and intricate shapes that we can create with our knitting needles. So it's worked from the top down, back and forth until it's joined for the body and knitted in the rounds. You then do go back and it's got I-cord edging. It's just a beautiful yarn. So I did, I was going to knit it in my Allino because it's a DK. And then I kind of just thought, I don't think I'm going to get go. I don't know why I thought I was going to do it, and then for some reason I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I thought I'm going to get the yarn that's more recommended for it because it's a lot of lace work and I just wanted it to look perfect. So this, what I've done, and I'm not selling it yet, so that's why I'm just going to touch on it briefly. So the one I was telling you about, the Morning Salutation, which is tencel and cotton. I can't remember, but the Morning Salutation I have in the 4-ply, but it's available in a DK, and I don't have it in stock. But what I did is I ordered 1 pack of it for myself in white. So this is the Morning Salutation DK, and that's what I'm going to knit it in. So I thought I would tell you about that. If you want to, if you do want to do it in a DK, I'm more than happy to order the yarn in for you, especially. But I think I am going to stock it. I've got a big order coming in from the UK, John Urban Textile, so I'll wait until that arrives and I'll pay that invoice. And I think I may get some colours in the DK in the Morning Salutation. Yeah, so what have I written? Oh, that's what it was. And I'm confused now. Too much time's passed. It wasn't the Allino I was going to knit it in. I was going to knit it in Erica Knight Studio Linen. Now, this is a DK. I do stock this. I only have 4 or 5 colours, but it's a very, I don't know, it's just that linen. It's sort of a matte finish. It looks to me, it just looks like a really nice natural fibre. So it's 100% linen, and this is exactly the same meterage as what she has recommended for the love letter as this is, but this is shiny, and it's a shinier yarn where this is like a matte finish. So they're very, they will create very different looks. So that was my original thought, and then I thought, well, actually no, I'm going to try this, and if I like it, I'll order it in for the shop. But you can do it in the Studio Linen if you love that pattern. Right. Yep. So my friend has knitted this love letter and it looks fabulous. And I've written here just to remind myself, I was going to take both of these next week and get a second opinion. That was my mindset on what was happening with these 2 yarns. I've got a feeling she's going to say the Studio Linen because I know she's knitting a summer top with this at the moment, and she said it's really nice. So anyway, so that's the love letter. With love letter or love note? Yeah, it's love letter. It's just a beautiful all over lace summer top, and yeah, you can do it in the linen if you want to, the DK linen. But yeah, I won't say any more, think more about that until I cast it on. I'll probably cast it on before I see you next time, and then you'll know which way I went, what I decided. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm going to do a shop update. And I've also, so I'm going to talk to you about my new yarns and show you some of the colours. Also, I'm going to talk to you about some neat little gift ideas, sort of under $20 if you are looking to buy presents for your knitting friends or for a secret Santa for knitters, sort of around that $20 to $30 mark. I'll show you what I've got available. But what I want to say, because I know that not everyone hangs around for the shop update, but if you have chose to spend your time with me over the last hour or so, I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of knitting podcasts out there. So if you choose to spend your time with me, thank you very much. and I hope you come back for episode number 65 and enter the Christmas giveaway. I think they're amazing presents, but I'm also really happy to find homes for them because I've just been packed away in my shop here and I need the space. So I'm really, really happy to find new homes. So thank you for spending this time with me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, thumbs up, follow me on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you for episode 65. But if you've chosen to hang around for the shop update, I'm going to show you some new products that I have had arrive, some colours and some Christmas gift ideas. So I'm going to regather all my things and get those ready. Okay, shop update. The first thing I've got, I do have access now to Cocoa Knits. So if there's anything that you're wanting me to stock from the Cocoa Knits range, just send me a message and I'm happy to stock that. But what I've had my eye on this for myself. I've got a couple of de-pilling, de-fluffing combs. I've got a powered one, and they work. And I've got the sweater stone and they work as well. But this is the Cocoa Knits and it's called a fuzz off comb. And it's like a shaving blade. That's it there. And you go like this, you comb it, and it just removes everything beautifully. And I think it's really handy just to have in your wardrobe when you just want to, de-pill those little bits before you walk out the door. So that's it there. It's called the Fuzz Off Comb and it's on my website. I'll leave the link below for it. You can get the replacement blades and I haven't got those yet, but I will get them in my next order and they're really quite cheap. The comb itself isn't that cheap. I can't remember. I think it's about $45 or $50. But you can get replacement blades for it and I think it's just a really nice, neat, handy fuzz off comb. And I have been asked for them and I thought it'd be nice to get something a bit different than what everyone else has got. Like you can get other ones, they're available, but that's new to my store. The other thing I wanted to tell you about was John Urban Textiles order. It's on its way. So that's your Yarnadelic, Apple Door and Knit by Numbers. It's quite a big order coming. But what I've managed to do is every few years they bring out limited edition colours, which I ordered, and I've still got quite a bit of this one, which is called Space Talk. But the one that was really popular was called Dark Star, and it was a dark, rich brown. And I sold out of that really quickly, but I have managed to get myself another 20 skeins, which doesn't sound like a lot because it's really only like 5 sweater quantities worth. But it is a beautiful color. It is still on my website if you want to have a look at it, and it's arriving soon, like a couple of weeks. So the new yarns that I've got that I have talked about, but here we go here. The Morning Salutation, which is your cotton tencel. I just wanted to show you there are 10 colors available. And I'm just going to show them up. You can't see them that well, but there is a black. There's a mustard. Where's that color? Bear with me. This one here. I think I've dropped it. This color here has been really popular. They don't have names. It's color 22. They have numbers. But that. You can have a look at some of those colors. This eggshell, that one's called eggshell. That's been really popular as well. It's a really nice, light, literally eggshell color. But yeah, they're $10 and that's your 4-ply cotton tencel. The other one is the Allino DK, which I was talking to you about. There's 9 colors and they're $13.95 each. And I think all of the colours are in there. There's a white, like a neutral, a mustard, an apple green. There's a navy blue, a denim blue, a brown and a taupe. So they're $13.95. And the linen I was talking to you about, this is 100%, it's called Studio Linen, and they're $21, and there's 4 colours. And you can see they're very nice neutral colours. So that's the 4 Studio Linens. I'm just going to pause because there's someone ringing my doorbell. Okay, that's twice in 2 days that I have had like Bible students, I think, because we're getting close to Christmas and you get them knocking on the door, spreading the word, which is really nice, but twice in 2 days is a bit too much. But anyway, I politely said I was busy. Kid Silk Mohair, 17 colours, $19.95. What I wanted to say about Christmas gifts as well is I have gift vouchers available on my website. I think there's $10, $20 and $50 different amounts, but gift vouchers are available, so you can give the hint to your husband or the kids, give me gift vouchers. But I also have Afterpay available, so you can select that as a payment option on my website. So I wanted to show you a few gift ideas that are under $20, like if you're buying for friends or something. So I've got the all stitch flower stitch markers. These ones are the cool color, and then there's the warm color, which is oranges and pinks. They're magnetic and they're really handy, and I love them. I think they're about $16.95. I have the Knitter's Balm that's been really popular, but there's the solid bar and then there's also the balm, so they're under $20. I have needle tip stoppers, I think they're called, but they're these little rubber, they're so handy. They're not a necessary thing, but they're quite handy, just to go on the end of your needle so your stitches don't fall off when it's in the bottom of your knit bag. There's 24 in a pack, and I think they're about $16. I have the real basics for $5, like the hourglass pins and the plastic pins, and they come in these handy aluminium reusable tins. My stitch on hold cords also come in a handy reusable tin. I think they're $15. They're all under 20. And then for under $30, I still have quite a few of these leather notion pouches left. They're handmade and they hold a whole lot, and they're beautiful. They're a real thick leather. There's purple, there's bright pink, light pink, and black, I think. But I think they're around $30. And then there's the natural cork case, which is also a notions pouch. I've actually seen people use these as glass cases for their glasses, but cork. And then there's a little one just to hold your stitch markers. These are over $30. I can't remember how much they are, but I love this little gift box, and it's all your stitch markers from All Stitch. So you've got the smaller and the large, and you've got the cool colours and the warm colours, and they come in this real neat little box. So I've still got a few of those left. And I actually think these are really handy, but on my website, they're called Keep in Count. And they're the stitch markers that it's got 25, 50, 100, 150. So if you're doing a big project and you're casting on hundreds of stitches, you can put a marker every 50, so as though you're easy to keep count. But yeah, so that's those. So lots of gift ideas for under $20 and under $30. But if you want to be really extravagant, I do have Thread and Maple, and I do still have 2 of their beautiful leather tote bags and 1 of their everyday bag that unzips and folds open. Let's just have a look at them on the website. But I wanted to show, I've shown you this before, and this I don't leave the house without. This is called the project page, and it comes in black, blue, and the natural whiskey colour. But this is what I take everywhere with me, and it has this magnetic clip on it, this magnet, and that holds all my stitch markers. But in here, like, I've got my scissors, cable needle, crochet needle. In here, in that top bit, I've got a tape measure, I've got cords. I've got the knitting needle, which is for this. So this project page has got everything I need in it to finish knitting this, basically. It's got a zip section. It's got a zipper here for more. I've got needle tip stoppers and T-pins and that in there. And then there's also a pouch in there. But that's it is designed that it can go in the binder if you are building a if you're building a thread and maple binder set. This Notion page can go into the binder, but if you're not wanting to build a set, you can just buy the pages individually, and this is a really nice starter page. It's one that you'll just use all the time. I bought this before I knew I was going to be a stockist of thread and maple, and that's why I bought the black. I wish I'd bought the whiskey, the natural brown leather, because that's what colour the rest of my binder is, but I'm not buying another one. I'll stick with the black. But that's the one that's called a project page. There's all sorts of different pages. And that's pretty well it for my shop update. So I am going to go away and I'm going to finish this. And I'm going to cast on either the DK stripe version of this using the Knit by Numbers DK or the Mohair. I just have to decide with the Mohair, what was it, Cloud Blouse, whether I'm going to do bright stripe colours or whether I'm just going to do one colour. I am leaning towards the stripes because I've seen it a lot in the shops and it looks amazing, but then I don't want to do it and then in a year or two think, oh, it's a bit loud and it's not in fashion anymore. I'd probably rather knit something that I know I can wear years down the track. But oh no, too many choices, isn't there? There are just too many choices. So I think that's me done and done. Thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate every person that has subscribed. I really hope we can continue to build my channel. I think I'm close to 3,500, but would love to see that keep growing. Same with my social media. I do endeavour to be a bit more current, but thanks for your patience. You know, sometimes you just need to take a break and put family first. And it was a really, really nice time away, is what I have to say. And I loved it because my husband really needed it, actually, more than I did. So it was a really nice time. Like I said, I'm going to put my Christmas tree up this weekend, so I'm excited about that. I'll have to take a photo and show it to you. My daughter's going to come over and we're going to do that. And I mean, I love Christmas. It's a crazy time. It's a busy time, and you've got to keep everything into perspective. But you know, if you do that, it's a nice time to be with family. And of course, for us here in the Southern Hemisphere, it's summer. So bring on the warm weather, shorts, jandals, yay. I'm definitely a summer person. I much prefer the summer over winter. But that's me, because I'm just waffling on now about nothing. So thank you very much. Please subscribe, and I will see you in a couple of weeks with the prize winners of those 2 leather bags. And if you're one of the 2 winners for the pattern for Emeka Hair Knits, please contact me and I will get those patterns to you, probably via Elizabeth. Yeah, so thank you. Stay happy, stay healthy, and hope you get lots of knitting done, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.